So now we are going about alternators, the basic principle. So these alternators we are also called as AC generators. So these are all usually called as AC generators or alternators. So these will be operating on same fundamental principles of electromagnetic induction. As we know, this electromagnetic induction is the main principle in the DC generators. The same principle is used for the AC generators also. So these consist of armature winding and magnetic field, same as DC. But there is only one important difference between the two. In DC generator, the armature will be rotating, making a noise, and the field system is stationary there. The arrangement of these rotations and stationary is just the reverse of it in the alternators. In this case, what happens? The standard construction, it consists of a armature winding which is mounted on the stationary element. It is called as stator. Okay, on the stator, armature will be mounted, and the field windings on the rotating element are called as rotor. So what happens here? The field winding will be rotating and the armature will be constant. So now you will see that this is the DC generator here. This is the armature. These are the poles, positive, negative brush. These are the brushes, and this is the shaft. North pole, south pole. These are the single split ring commutators, positive and negative brushes and single split ring commutators. So coming to the construction. So here in the figure you can see that in between the round small circular rotor is there. These are the rotor, these are rings, these are the rotor rings. Okay, and these are the exciters and these are the brushes. This is all is called as stator. Okay, these are field poles, these are the windings, these are the stator slots, these are the stator slots, and this is the stator frame. Outside is the stator frame, and down yellow bar is the stator core. This is the stator core. This is the cage winding and end rings. I have shown you the end rings in induction motor. At the end they are short, they are connected, they are attached to the copper bars so that there will be formation of rugged copper bars, and these are the inside there are cage bars. This is the terminal of the stator. The three terminals will be coming out, and this whole equipment on the yoke surrounding the yoke is fitted on the iron bars with a screws, so that while the rotor is moving, it will be kept constant. So on the rotor we are taking the field windings, and on the stator we are taking the armature windings. Remember, on the rotor field windings, on the stator armature winding is taken. So armature is constant on stator and field windings are rotating on the rotor. So this stator consists of a cast iron frame. Stator will be consisting of cast iron frame. It will be supporting the armature core, and it is having slots in the inner periphery. These are the slots in the inner periphery, inner circumference. This is the outer circumference. This is the inner circumference of the stator. It is having slots in the inner periphery for housing the armature conductors. For what? For slots are used for putting the armature conductors in the slots. We are using these slots. Okay, and the rotor here will be looking like a free wheel. It is having alternate north and south poles. These are the poles. It is having alternate north and south poles. These are on the outer rim. These are the alternate north and south poles. This one. Okay, alternate. This is north means this is south. If this is north means this is south, and if this is north means this is south. Like that, they will be having alternate north and south poles fixed to its outer rim. And the magnetic poles, these are excited from direct current supply by a DC source of 125 to 600 volts. These are excited by 125 to 600 volts. So in most cases, 1 minute. So almost all the cases, the necessary exciting current, it is obtained from a small DC shunt generator. So this small DC shunt generator will be belted or mounted on the shaft of the alternator itself. So because the field magnets are rotating here, the north and south poles are rotating here, the current is supplied through two slip rings. We are using two slip rings and we are supplying the current. And the exciting voltage we are getting is also very small. The slip rings and the brush gear are also of light construction. And recently, brushless excitation systems are also developed. These are used in three-phase exciter and a group of rectifiers supply DC to the alternators. So brushes, slip rings, and commutators, all three are eliminated by this. Now, when the rotor rotates, the stator conductors are constant, right? The stator conductors are outside stator conductors are constant. So when the rotor rotates, the stator conductors which are constant, these are cut by the magnetic flux. Hence, they have induced EMF produced in them. So as the magnetic poles are alternatively north and south, they induce an EMF. So current will be induced in the armature conductors, which first flows in one direction, then in other direction. So alternating EMF is produced in the stationary conductors, right? This frequency will be depending upon the number of south and north poles moving in the conductor in 1 second, and the direction is given by Fleming's right hand rule. Okay, so this is the detailed basic principle and of a alternator. Now we will see the construction part. In the construction part, first we will see the stationary armature. Because the armature is constant, we are calling it as a stationary armature, right? So actually in the DC generator, what happens? The armature will be rotating and the field poles are constant. So here the armature is constant and field poles are rotating. So for having the stationary armature, what are the advantages we are having? Now we will see. The first advantage is the output current can be led directly from the fixed terminals on the stator to load circuit without passing them into the brush contacts. Actually in DC motors, what happens? The brush will be carrying the current, and from the armature, the current will be supplied to the load through the brushes, right? So as the armature is rotating there is no possibility of transferring of current without brushes. But here, as the armature is constant here, without brushes also it is possible to let the current directly from the fixed terminals. Before, in DC generators, the armature terminals are rotating. So these are not fixed. So there is no possibility of current transfer without brushes. And now in this case, we are taking fixed terminals of the stator. So that's why from the fixed terminals of the stator, we can let the current directly to the output without output to the load circuit without passing them to the brush contacts. This is the first important advantage. The second one is it is very easy to insulate stationary armature winding for high AC voltages. Okay, so these have a high values as 30 kV or more. Okay, because as we are dealing with high voltages 30 kV or more, we can insulate the armature windings very easily. And the sliding contacts, that is the slip rings, these are transferred to the low voltage and low power DC field circuits. This therefore can be also insulated easily. And last most advantage is the armature windings are easily braced to prevent any deformation, because while rotating the armature, there will be some mechanical stress on the armature, right? As we are taking the only stationary armature here, these are easily braced to prevent any deformation, which are produced by the mechanical stresses. And there is no result of short circuit current. And high centrifugal forces can be brought into play also. So this is the, these are the 4 advantages which are outcomed by stationary armature. Now we will go into the construction. Stator frame. First one, stator frame. In DC machines, coming to the first one in details of construction, stator frame. And after that we will go for stator core. First, stator frame. In DC machines, the outer frame or yoke will be, it serves to carry the magnetic flux, right? What is the function of the outer frame in DC machines or yoke? It serves to carry the magnetic flux, but in alternator, it is not meant for that purpose. It is used for holding the armature stampings and windings in position. This stator frame holds the armature, stampings and the windings in position. Okay, so low speed has large diameter alternators, and these have frames of large diameter because of ease of manufacture, and these are cast into sections also. And second one, the ventilation is maintained with the help of holes which are cast in the frame itself only. And the provisional of radial ventilating spaces in the stampings, these provide air cooling the machine. So instead of castings, frames are generally used in modern days. Okay, instead of using castings, frames are generally fabricated. These are fabricated from mild steel plates. These are welded together in such a way to form a frame having a box type section. But these are having laminations and all together are welded together to form a frame which is having a box type section. Next, stator core. Now the armature core is supported by the stator frame and it is built of laminations. So you see in the diagram, the core is built of laminations. See here, this one. This is the laminated core. These laminations are made with special magnetic iron or steel alloy. And the core is laminated to minimize the loss due to eddy current losses. Okay, and the laminations are stamped out in complete rings for smaller machines, or for larger machines they are taken in segments. And the laminations are insulated from each other and having spaces between them for allowing the cool air to pass through them. So these slots are called as air ducts. These slots are used. These slots are for housing, and armature conductors lie along the inner periphery of the core, and these are stamped out at same time when the laminations are formed. At the time of laminations only, these are also formed. So different types of armature slots are there. We will discuss in next class those.